Counseling 6303, Houston Baptist University, Chapter 7, presented by Dr. John Spody. Love and Communication in Intimate Relationships. What is love? Love is difficult to define and/or measure. Special attitude with behavioral and emotional components is part of the definition of love. Love means different things to different people, and it can be difficult to measure. Strong lovers make more eye contact in a psychological experiment. Types of love. Passionate love, a state of extreme absorption in another person, also known as romantic love, and companionate love, characterized by friendly affection and deep attachment based on extensive familiarity with the loved one. Sternberg's triangular theory of love. Love has three dimensions. In Figure 7.1 in Sternberg's love triangle, various combinations of three components of love, passion, intimacy, and commitment, make up the different kinds of love. Note that non-love is the absence of all three components. Sternberg's love components. In Figure 7.2, Sternberg theorizes that the passion component of love peaks early in a relationship and then declines, whereas the other two components, intimacy and commitment, continue to build gradually over time. Lee's style of loving. In Lee's style of loving, there are characteristics of intimate human relationships. There's romantic love, game playing, possessive, compassionate, altruistic, and pragmatic. The hypothesis is relationship success is influenced by compatibility and styles of loving. Falling in love. Why and with whom? The chemistry of love. Neurotransmitters, neuroepinephrine, dopamine, PEA, and endorphins. There's a strong link between feelings of being in love and the release of neurotransmitters. Potential impact of hormonal contraception use in women. There's reduced attractiveness to potential partners due to altered chemical fertility signals. Proximity and similarity. Geographic nearness of one person to another, the mere exposure effect. Familiarity breeds liking or loving. Great proximity often reflects shared interests. Similarity of beliefs, interests, and values. The level of physical attractiveness, the age, educational status, and religion, and the race or ethnicity can all play a part in love. Reciprocity and physical attractiveness. When we are recipients of expressions of liking or loving, we tend to respond in kind. We have increased self-esteem when we find that someone else is attracted to us or demonstrates expressions of liking and love. Physical attractiveness or physical beauty. This is important in the early stages of love and liking. It's what draws people together. Physical attractiveness may be an indicator of physical health. Males place greater emphasis on physical attractiveness than women. Love and style of attachment. Attachment is the intense emotional tie between two individuals, and it's rooted in our infancy. We see attachment theories related to parenting and the relationship between a mother and a child during the breastfeeding and weaning processes. Ainsworth has attachment styles. They're secure, insecure, anxious, ambivalent, and avoidant attachment. Adult intimate relationships as an attachment process. Parent child attachment styles are transferred to the adult relationship. Issues in loving relationships. Relationships between love and sex. Relationships between the two is not always clear. For example, friends with benefits. Gender differences. Women may feel more emotionally involved in a sexual act than men. Questions to debate. Does sexual intimacy deepen a love relationship? Do men and women have different views of sex and love? Is sex without love appropriate? Jealousy in relationships. Jealousy-prone person. A jealousy-prone person tends to have low self-esteem and places a high value on wealth and popularity. The jealousy-prone person allows the jealousy to precipitate partner violence. Sex differences. Women are more likely to acknowledge feelings of jealousy, while men tend to focus more on sexual involvement. Maintaining relationship satisfaction. Ingredients in lasting love relationship. Some things to consider when developing a lasting love relationship include self-acceptance and acceptance of the partner, appreciation of each other and the commitment made to each other, good communication with realistic expectations and shared interests, equality in decision-making, and the ability to face and deal with conflict. Maintaining relationship satisfaction continued. There are characteristics associated with high-quality relationships. Some of these characteristics include supportive communication styles, companionship, sexual expression and variety, seeing partner as a best friend, and maintaining frequent positive interactions. Further, sexual variety is an important ingredient. Communication is critical. Talk about desires, needs, and feelings. Be spontaneous. Avoid routine times and places. Do not let questions of what is normal get in the way. Importance of sexual communication. Most important role of communication. It is established and maintained the consent of sexual experience. Mutual empathy. This is the underlying knowledge that each partner in a relationship cares for the other and knows that this care is reciprocated. Talking, getting started. Ways to break the ice. Talking about talking. Discuss why it is hard to talk about. Talk about non-threatening topics, such as birth control methods. Reading and discussing. Read books and articles and discuss them together. Sharing sexual histories. Depends on the needs and the feelings in the relationship. Listening and feedback. Good listening traits. Be an active listener, maintain eye contact, provide feedback, support your partner's communication efforts, and express unconditional positive regard. Discovering your partner's needs. Ask questions. Yes and no questions, open-ended questions, either-or questions. Self-disclosure requires a give and take. And there's the area of internet relationships that are rapidly evolving. Discovering your partner's needs continued. You can discuss sexual preferences. Matter of preferences. Some feel comfortable, some do not. Giving permission. Providing reassurances to one's partner that it is okay to talk about specific feelings or needs. Learning to make requests. Taking responsibility for our own pleasure. People are not mind readers. Making requests specific. The more specific the requests, the more one will be understood. Using I language. Forthright approach brings about the desired response more easily. Expressing and receiving complaints. Constructive strategies for expressing complaints. Choose the right time and place for expressing a complaint. Temper complaints with praise. Avoid why questions. Express negative emotions appropriately. And limit complaints to one per discussion. Receiving a complaint. Acknowledge a complaint and find something to agree with. Ask clarification questions. Express your feelings. Focus on future changes you can make. Saying no. The 3-step approach to saying no. Express appreciation for the invitation. Say no in a clear, unequivocal fashion. Offer alternatives. Avoid sending mixed messages. When nonverbal messages contradict verbal messages, partners can have difficulty grasping our true intention. Nonverbal sexual communication. These include such things as facial expressions, interpersonal distance, touching, and sound. Communication patterns in relationships. Gottman's constructive communication tactics. Leveling and editing, validating, and volatile dialogue. Gottman's destructive communication techniques. Criticism and contempt, defensiveness, stonewalling, and belligerence. Summary. Love is a special kind of attitude with strong emotional and behavioral components. The way we form attachments, which has its roots in infancy, greatly affect how we relate to loved partners. Various perspectives exist on the connections between love and sex.